It's time for another chapter of Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls by Anna Martin. Chapter 3. The members of the Babysitters Club gathered numbly in my bedroom, still reeling from the terrible news we'd learned moments before. "This is terrible," moaned Christy. "How can we babysit under these conditions?" Nobody said a word. To ease the tension, I took a gigantic chocolate bar out of my Trapper Keeper, this being 1986, carefully peeled back the wrapper and offered pieces to Christy and Marianne. I didn't even bother to feel bad that Stacy couldn't eat any. I had been frightened into total callousness to my best friend's medical condition. So the three of us chewed in silence while Stacy awkwardly sat there. "Look," said Stacy after a while, graciously ignoring our inconsiderate behavior, "I think we're worrying about nothing. The Phantom Caller hasn't even robbed anybody in Stony Brook, so he's at least 20 miles away." She turned to Marianne. "What makes you so sure he'll come here next? Maybe he'll just decide that he should clear out and go rob people in Oklahoma." "That's true," said Marianne slowly. "And in the second place, if we sit for somebody who does have some fantastic piece of jewelry and the Phantom Caller has heard about it, don't you think we'd have heard about it too? I mean, everybody we've ever babysat for gives us a full list of all their valuables. It's what you do with a babysitter, right? I mean, it wouldn't be any secret then. But, well, what if we just happened to be babysitting somewhere and a burglar just happened to try and break in? Not the Phantom Caller necessarily, but like any burglar at all. It could happen, you know. We should be prepared." "You're right," said Christy. "Good babysitters should be prepared for anything." "Maybe," said Stacy, "we should arrange a code we could give each other over the phone that would be a signal for the other person. I call Claudia, for example, and I say, 'Hey, it's Stacy. Have you found my red ribbon?' And that's a signal that I'm in trouble and I need Claudia to go get some help." "Hey, now that's a neat idea," said Christy. "Yeah," agreed Marianne, "but how would Claudia know where you are? How would she know where to send the help that's coming?" "That's right, that's a good question," I said, "because what if the burglar was listening in on the other line? I couldn't just say, 'Okay, I'll go get some help, where are you?' That wouldn't do any good at all." "Oh, listening in on an extension, that is just so creepy," screamed Christy. "But it could happen," I said. "It happened in that thriller, The Night of the Weird. You know, the one where they find the babysitter and..." Stop. Don't say anymore. I don't want to know anymore," cried Christy. "Well, all right, but the point is," I said, "that we should all know where each one of us is sitting and when." "Well," said Marianne, "there's the record book." Now, the record book is where we keep track of our babysitting appointments as well as all other important club information. Christy makes us keep a club notebook, too. Each time we complete a job, we're supposed to write up what happened. Then the other club members will know about any problems with kids or their families or their homes and know what to expect the next time they sit for the client. And I should mention here that familiar readers of the books might recall that chapters 2 and 3 involved a slight bit of retreading of information, just a touch. Every once in a while you might encounter something that you know already, repeated a time or two. So you may become familiar with some information contained in this chapter and the previous one the more I do this series and the more books I get to. But for now, enjoy learning about all of this new and useful information that I have to impart. I should mention here, says Claudia, that each of us holds an office in the Babysitters Club. Marianne is secretary, which is why she was thinking of the record book. Christy is president, since the club was her idea, and she's a little bit bossy. I'm vice president, since the headquarters is my bedroom and I have a private phone line. And Stacy is treasurer, since she likes numbers. "What about the record book?" asked Stacy. "Well, it's got all the information in it," said Marianne. "Our appointments, the money we've earned, everything. I could bring it to school every day so we could check the calendar. And during our regular Friday afternoon meetings, we could each check it for the weekend, and that way, each of us would be sure to know what the others are doing, where they're going to be babysitting. That's a good suggestion, said Christy, except that as president, I'll take responsibility for the book during school. If anything happens to it, it'll be my fault. You don't have to do that, I said. We could just take turns. No, it's easier if the same person always has it. I don't mind. So I move that I should bring it to school every day. I second the motion, said Marianne, looking relieved. And I suppressed an eye roll at their predictable solidarity. Good, said Christy. Now what about burglar alarms? What about them? I countered. I think that if we're babysitting and anything strange happens, a silent phone call, funny noise, anything, we should rig up some kind of burglar alarm so that at least we'd know if somebody tried to break into the house. For a moment, nobody spoke. At last, Marianne said, You mean like stacking tin cans in front of a door so that if the door opened, the cans would crash down and, alert you? Exactly, cried Christy. That's a good idea. She tore a piece of paper out of my social studies. But, Christy added, make sure you don't put the stuff where the kids you're sitting for could fall over it. And make sure you put it away before the parents come home. Right, we agreed. Okay, other ideas, Claudia? Asked Christy. She's beginning to sound like some of my teachers. No, I said crossly, feeling embarrassed. Then I added, What about you, Christy? Do you have any ideas? I hear you have some great ones sometimes. Because I was realizing that Christy had been doing a lot of talking and writing and not much thinking and idea offering. There was an awkward silence. Then, how about a smell alert? Said Christy. But I was rolling my eyes, reciting that to you, the reader. Christy said it with a giggle. Marianne and Stacy also laughed, but I thought Christy was sounding pretty childish again. What, I demanded, is a smell alert, if I may ask? But then I realized that Christy had just farted, and she was just calling attention to that, like she even needed to. Not actually, but I mean, wouldn't you think that? I really did think that's where this was going, even though they don't talk about farts in, at least in the 1986 version of these books. There's no farting, no. Yeah, I don't think that they definitely didn't touch on periods or anything. But the show charmingly took care of that, which I roundly approve of. Not that my opinion matters. I'm just a fucking dude. But I thought it was like a really sweet little twist on what is it? Christy's Big Day? Hilarious. Anyway, yeah, no farting happened, but come on. If Christy's like, hey, how about a smell alert? And then everybody realized she farted, that's totally something Christy would do. But no, Christy is being a little bit childish. Christy couldn't stop giggling. You put something gross like garbage outside the house, so the burglar is bound to step in it. Then when he breaks in, you smell him before you even hear him. A smell alert. Well, I had no intention of laughing. All I said was, a burglar could be a woman. It doesn't have to be a man. And Claudia is not admitting it here, but I will bet you Claudia is directly lifting something that Janine has said to Claudia and deploying it here on Christy. Oh, Claudia, it was a joke, said Christy. Come on. Well, I don't have any ideas, okay? Okay, it's fine. We'll just keep thinking of some. Now, I'm going to write our code words, and you guys have to keep these a secret, okay? Keep the whole page a secret. Nobody should know our code, except the four of us. I'm serious now. No more smell alerts. This is Christy in serious mode. Okay, we agreed. Should we stick with what Stacy said? Asked Christy. What did she say? I forget, said Marianne. She said, have you found my red ribbon? I replied quickly, glad to be able to answer something right. Claudia, she's not negative. But no, I mean, clearly Claudia has just like Christy had to kind of get over some of her issues in the past book that were very elegantly illustrated via Anne and Martin's gift with subtext. Claudia also has some shit to get over here, and, nobody's got to be a perfect person anyway. I think that representing people in the first person, warts and all, without calling attention to the warts beyond, letting them speak for themselves, is like a really sophisticated technique. Right, said Christy, and that means that there's some kind of trouble and the babysitter needs some help. I think, I said slowly, that we should stick with what Stacy said, but that we should have a few more code words so that we can give more information. Yeah, in case there's a burglar listening in on the phone, the person who gets the phone call should answer in code to let the babysitter know her message was understood and that the friend knows where she's sitting and everything, added Stacy. Well, how about this for the answer, said Marianne. Sticking with the theme of ribbons, the person would say, no, the blue one. See, it's simple and it's still in code. That's good, said Christy, but I could see her masking her fear of the thought of a burglar listening in on her conversation with skepticism and an attempt to one-up her friend. I think we should also have a way to let someone know whether they were in really big trouble, said Stacy. Like if a burglar's in the house and we've actually seen him, or whether we just think there's trouble. Yeah, I replied, that's important. Well, okay, said Christy. How about this? After the person who gets the call for help goes, no, the blue one, the babysitter goes, now I'm in for it if there's big trouble, or, that's okay if she's not sure there's trouble. Okay, we agreed, although this shit is rapidly getting away from me. I don't know about you at home. I sure hope I can keep all this straight, I said. Let's practice, Christy suggested. Claudia, let's say you're babysitting for David Michael at my house and you hear a noise at the window. What would you do? I'd call Stacy, I said. Okay, well, let's hear your conversation. And remember, you don't know where the burglar is if there is a burglar, so you have to use the code. Okay, I'd pick up the phone and I'd call Stacy. Ring, 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 said Christy, imitating the phone. Stacy placed an imaginary receiver at her ear. Hello. Hi, Stacy, it's Claude. Did you see my ribbon around? No, have you found my red ribbon? Interrupted Christy. No, Christy, I haven't, I said. Claudia, come on. Do it right. I'm trying. Okay, ring, ring, ring. Hello, said Stacy. Hi, it's Claudia. How's it going? No, not how's it going, cried Christy. Get to the point. You're not making some social call. You're scared to death. Whew, I sighed. Hi, Stacy. It's me, Claudia. Have you found my red ribbon? Silence. And Stacy burst out laughing. I forgot what I'm supposed to say, guys. I'm sorry. Christy looked ready to kill us. White-hot eyes shot daggers through the air. Claudia called Marianne instead. Okay. Ring, ring. Hello. Hi, Marianne. It's Claudia. Have you found my red ribbon? No, I haven't. No, the blue one! Shouted Christy. Marianne, you made up this part of the code. You ought to know it. I know. I don't know. Christy, you know what, Claudia, let's just start over. So we humored Christy, and we practiced a while longer until we had the code pretty well memorized. Even so, Christy told us that when we each had a copy of the code words, we should read them over once a day to make sure we didn't forget them. She's so bossy sometimes. Later, as the girls were getting ready to leave my room, Marianne suddenly clamped her hand over her mouth. Oh no, she exclaimed. What is it? I asked. I just thought of something. What if my father hears about the phantom caller? I bet he won't let me babysit anymore. But we decided we don't have to worry about the phantom caller, I pointed out. I know, but if Dad finds out about our code words, forget it. It'll give him something to worry about. I don't think he's thought of robbers and stuff yet. I'm sure he has, Marianne. He probably just hasn't mentioned them because he doesn't want to scare you, even though you wouldn't be scared. He just thinks that it would scare you. Man, the communication sucks in this beer household. Either way, Christy says maybe we should keep all of this a secret from all our parents. You know how parents are. Marion's right. They're big worry warts. Let's just go on as if we never thought of any of these things. Agreed? Agreed. We all chimed in harmonic unity. And that meant that the emergency meeting of the Babysitters Club was over. But our macabre and humorous adventure was just beginning. Now, all I'm going to say about this is, I was talking about how great Anna Martin is as a writer earlier, and I do want to point out, for people who remember what's really going on in this book with the phantom phone calls, it is a nice little piece of plotting here. We've got a chapter. It seems like it's just sort of hanging out there, like it's there to say, hey, this is a record book. Hey, here are the officers. These are the people. Here's the plot of the book. But some clever seeds have been planted here. I say no more, but I think probably, I don't know, around chapter 13, 14, 15, you'll see what I'm talking about. We'll continue with chapter 4 next time of Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls by Anna Martin.